Greetings and welcome into Ankh Plays. Thanks for joining me here for episode 44 of our continuing series where we follow the fortress of Anvilseal, which has recently graduated to city designation. Now, as you can see on screen, we were hunting for some Alunite, and we found some over here, and we're starting to really pull at the dwarves' cave adaptation as they're going out to fetch all of these Alunite boulders. And so that's what we're continuing to do. We're looking at quite a few completed projects at this point, with the only project that we have on the roster at the moment being the Hall of Remembrance, which we did order some construction for earlier right off of camera before we got going. Now, something that I'll point out here also is that the patch 53.10 has just hit, and so if I bring up our dwarves, we no longer have naked dwarves, so I'm happy about this. I'm much less worried about it. As we move forward, we won't have to worry too much about strange-looking dwarves there. But they're working pretty hard over here. Another area that I kind of decided arbitrarily that we would go after, and hopefully I can find it once again, is we have a little mining designation that we've kicked off down here as well. And what I'd like to do with this is we're just going to dig a little tunnel, and we're going to try to put together a situation where we can start exploring below the areas that we have already dug on this map. And so I'd like to get down to elevation 0 if possible on this, and I'm guessing that we'll hit an aquifer and we'll have to deal with the aquifer, but that isn't too big of a concern. We just have to make sure that we're prepared for that so that our shaft doesn't fill up. So yeah, there we go. We'll get started on a little tunnel. We're just kind of doing some exploration. We want to see what the cavern layers look like without committing our fortress to any of the internal tunnels to exposing the cavern layer just yet. We want to be in control of that. Of course, Dabbles is a little cautious in that regard, so we're building this tunnel if anything comes up from the cavern layers, why it's just outside of our lava moat, which I think is a very prudent decision. So we also have, as you can see, the dwarves scurrying about here, 125 strong. We've got the beginnings of what will be our Hall of Remembrance. And we've got the walls on the base, the floor and the walkway, and then our columns are just going in. And we've got, I thought a little bit offline about how I wanted to do this. And I think the best way to do it is to just get these columns built up the same way that we were building everything up to this point, and then leave it at that. Then we will deconstruct the stairwells, and we'll finish everything. Off above here. Now, this area here, we can fill this in pretty easily. That's not an issue. So I'm happy about that. But I wanted to make sure that there was an easy way to get the columns, and I think that this is the easiest way. It's a little tedious to get all of these stairwells ordered to construct, but such as they're good now. So yeah, that's where we're at, and the dwarves appear to be working very hard at getting that taken care of. They'll probably cycle back out to, they'll probably cycle back out to getting as much of the Alunite as possible so we can finish off our flooring in the front part of the fortress. But yeah, we'll continue to monitor that and probably spend quite a bit of time down here this episode working through that. So we're going to be jumping around a little bit. And what I think I probably should have done is, so we've got, it's on elevation 38. And it looks to me like the dwarf just got tired. Or no, they're still digging. No water yet. Which is excellent. I was kind of expecting an aquifer here. Let's go back up here, though, to this, and we'll just set a hotkey. And we're just going to call this cavern exploration for now, with the goal being to get down to the first cavern layer at least. I don't know how far we will make it. We might hit the cavern layer well before that, or there might not be a cavern layer. Presumably there is, though. And so, yeah, we'll see how that goes. Nice little dwarf hole there. You can't even, almost can't even tell it's there. Very discreet, very easy to miss. Hard to see and easy to miss, which is exactly what we want. So I should be able to jump back and forth between our two areas. Yeah, excellent. That's always important. And dropping down here, it looks like all of our stairwells are completed, so we can actually have them start building these columns. I'd like to get the columns and the flooring in, if possible. And so we're going to do that. Oh, whoops. Gotta go up one there. What the heck's going on here? Cobaltite blocks at each one of these. And yeah, that little exploratory shaft I'm kind of excited about for a couple of reasons, but the main one is really simply that I'd like to get some of the underlichen, or the plants that are in the truly grow underground, and get them kind of tracked up through the non-floored parts of the fortress, primarily in the yak farm. And the reason that I want to do it in the yak farm is because it just kind of feels like there's a little bit of grass getting away from us. A little bit overgrazed, if that makes sense. So, yeah, there you go. We want to keep those yaks from eating quite everything. And the past couple of migrant waves have really proven that the dwarves do have an appetite for bringing along their pets. And some of those pets are grazers. So, you know, here we are. We've got to make sure that we've got food for everybody. Having a little bit of natural growth on those stone floors in there would be really nice. And, you know, maybe at some point in the future we just move everything underground. Although, it really seems to me like the dwarves in this particular fortress really like where they're living. And that's the reason why we've got that separate shaft over there. We don't want to disrupt that too terribly much, and then have to worry about securing the fortress from the inside. We've done enough to secure it from the outside as it is. These columns are actually going together really fast. I'm surprised. I think the biggest challenge for this particular project is not necessarily going to be the construction, because I'm feeling pretty comfortable with where we're at as far as the design is concerned with all of this. My primary concern is making sure that we've got all of the statues and everything properly notated, if that makes sense, right? We want to make a statue for each of the dwarves that we've lost so far along the way. There's 20 of them at the moment. But wanting to make sure that we've got their cause of death and everything else like that. I haven't decided if we will also do, how do you say it, maybe engrave another slab for them. You know, this is above and beyond what we've already done to inter each and every one of these dwarves, right? So, you know, there is that, that's an important consideration. And, yeah, you know, we'll see how that goes. Yeah, but look at this. We've got some columns that are already rising all the way to the top. That was very, very easy. If not just a little bit tedious. And we've got our cobaltite columns rising into the ceiling. Oops. Got another cow we probably should deal with. Yeah, that one's done. Let's deal with that cow. You look like you're the new one. Low stamina. Goodbye. And we did get our soap done as well last time. I think we're probably fine with just kind of doing the bare minimum on the soap. Like I was originally going to try and automate those jobs, but I just have concerns about us overusing the wood, which is a very limited supply and a valuable resource for us. We have less and less need for the wood in terms of, exactly. We have less need of the wood to make beds and so on, but there's definitely a consideration there, and I want to make sure that we're paying attention to that still. So at some point we might automate the soap jobs and go after like maybe making a bathhouse or something neat like that, but not yet. We're going to wait on that. So once we get these columns in, we need to make some decisions. We need to decide on what, if any, we're going to have variation in the floor. Like we've got the microcline walls, and obviously we'll need to go up one more level on the microcline walls. But do we want to continue? That's lovely. Almost done. Do we want microcline, or do we want some other base for the floor around these statues? And I haven't decided yet, right? It seems like there also needs to be something very fitting at the end of this hallway. And I had discussed maybe the idea was to maybe put the throne room if our king ever shows up. I know the fortress has to get a little bit bigger before that will happen. So it's probably not something that we have to worry about right now, but just in the future. We also could put some type of temple, maybe to the god of death, down there. I think that would be kind of an appropriate response, or an appropriate building to put at the end of a sanctum like this. But we'll see. We probably should choose the material for the floor, but before we do that, let's jump back on over to our favorite little excavation here and see how far we've made it down. It looks like we made it all the way to level 0. Yeah, we sure did. Excellent. Okay, so let's continue to dig then. And let's go to -20, and we'll see where that ends up at. And then, you know what? Maybe we should check on our Lunite project, because I think that's the next step. We haven't looked out there very recently. Got some dwarves singing and dancing in the tavern, which is excellent. And then across here, yep, just about done. And the wheelbarrows is pretty quickly. Yeah, just the one left. That's going to allow us to make some Lunite blocks and hopefully finish the floor here, which we'll see if we can do. Let's see if we can just... Yeah, I've got 190 Lunite blocks, no problem. There we go. And actually, the thought occurs to me, this is a beautiful combination here. Ooh, that's a yak bowl. Let's take care of that. Low stamina. Got another one. Checking out. Get after that Lunite, boys and girls. I'm thinking maybe we put some Lunite down here. I'm not sure where, though. Perhaps we run a Lunite around the back of this chamber? Let's take a look. We want to do floors. And maybe something like this, and then, black with the columns. That might be nice. I have 111 steel bars. That's really good. I need to remember that, because we probably should do something with all of those bars. We have a ton of microcline. So it's not like it's a rare material. But I would like something that's a little bit different than what we currently have. But we need something that's sufficiently, how do you say it? Sufficiently numerous. We're going to run out of cobaltite. You know, orthoclase does look nice, but it's a red. I'll tell you what. You know what? We do have mica. And mica is quite numerous. And I think it would be a really nice contrast here. So what we're going to do is we first need to have our mining guild come in and destroy these stairwells real quickly. And the reason that we're going to do that is because they're no longer needed. We've got the columns built out. I guess we could have done this, in hindsight, we could have done this a little bit more creatively, where we built the columns and then mined the remaining portions of everything out here. But I wasn't really thinking clearly, and I wasn't entirely certain of the shape that I wanted. So now that we've got, you know, a little bit better shape, it's much easier to see that, oh, hey, we could have just delayed mining all of that out. But, you know, such that it is. That's the way the Dwarf Fortress goes. And, whoops. Okay, that worked. I think if I made more of these columns, I would probably have to do this off camera because this is just quite tedious, but we'll get a whole bunch of granite back. Not that we need it. And I'm kind of looking for other things to do with this fortress. I have a few ideas, but I haven't fully decided on them. This is going to be a big project here. And, you know, I'm thinking that there might be maybe some opportunity to make some waterworks. We should probably check on that. Okay, so once all that goes away, we can start building our... Ooh, I didn't think about that. I think we need to excavate one more row. And then we'll start putting stuff in. I don't know why I have this paused. We do have a whole new squad, or basically a full replacement for the silvery anvils. They went through a tough time. And it looks like everybody's got a hammer. Everyone has a hammer. Enith does not have a hammer, and Stoder does have a hammer but doesn't have a shield. Let's just check in on our equipment. It's really annoying. You have an iron shield assigned. There we go. That's kind of what I was looking for. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Yak Bull's been slaughtered. Expansive cavern deep underground. Okay, so it's about at 10 or 11. And I would say that it's largely filled with water, with the exception of this area over here, which is kind of nice. Lots of tower cap trees. I'm inclined to let them keep digging here. See if we can get to negative 20. That's the first cavern layer. Just continue to do discovery here. Even if stuff comes creeping out of that cavern layer, I think that's okay. Onol is doing the mining work. This is actually pretty remote mining work. Like, this is a long ways to go. And we've got an injured citizen. Who is this? Okay, what is going on here, guys? I do not understand what has happened. You guys have got to be kidding me. Someone deconstructed the stairwell out from under her. All right. Let's erase these orders. Oh, that's annoying. Okay, so they're clinging to the columns now. The stairwells are clinging to the columns, which I should have known, I suppose. So we've stranded 2 miners. So let's build another stairwell. I'm sorry, guys. That's frustrating. We're trying not to have anyone die in the construction of the Hall of Remembrance. Oh boy. Let's try to get them from the top. Don't worry, we'll get you down. And what kind of injury are you sporting here, Latast? Ability to stand lost. Upper left leg is mangled beyond recognition. Well, another mining injury. And it looks like she's been brought to rest. Okay. Alright, so here's what we're going to do from now on, alright? God, I don't know how we're going to do this now. I've really screwed this up, haven't I? We're going to have to build some stairs. Okay, and I think that we need to... Do I go top down or bottom up is the real question. Oops. The lessons that Dwarf Fortress teaches you, eh? Okay. Well, let's not make more stairwells than we need at this moment in time. And hopefully she's getting the care that she needs. Latast, I'm so sorry. Tool stabbed. Well, almost. Being able to rest and recuperate. Well, that's a good, good, happy thought there. Glad that's okay for you, Dwarf. So much rotten fish. I'm noticing that the dwarves really like to stop off and have a sleep in the dining room. Have a meal in the dining room. However, I haven't really seen any dwarves sleeping over there, although we haven't been quite as vigilant as I thought we would need to be to catch one of them, so they might not be using it. Let's go for -50 here. See what else we open up. Lots of sparring. Okay. So everything from the top down is good. Let's remove... I just want to see, can I remove this thing here? Mandate's ending. Okay, so she obviously fell when that happened. Ah, man, I really have screwed this up, haven't I? Okay, so someone else is coming down. Presumably they're going to come down that way. Yeah, it's like they're falling. Which is really crummy. Alright. I think you want to deconstruct stairs from the top down. That's really what I'm getting at. Or really what I'm getting from the game right now. Must remove construction. This is bad. So we can't have dwarves falling, you guys. We've got a new dog. Lovely. Looks like everyone is rolling off of their assignments on duty. What I'm scared of now is, do I build another staircase to deconstruct the first staircase and then do this top down from here on out? And I think that's what we're going to have to do. So let this be a lesson to you all. In Dwarven engineering, or the lack thereof. I don't think I need to double that one up. No, he's good. Once we get everything reconstructed, we will deconstruct the ones that are bad. And then after that... oh dear. After that, we will go ahead and start talking about floors. Because obviously, I cannot be trusted to build anything that our dwarves will be able to use. Okay, so that's almost done. Let's get... yeah, just build up those stairs, dwarves. Dear me. How embarrassing, right? Let's make stairwells to deconstruct the stairwells. What could go wrong? That one goes all the way up. It's like, do they have to be on that space to mine it? 3 beds, you got it. I don't think we need very many beds right now, but such that it is. Okay, so these have just freestanding staircases. So take those down. I don't know what's going to happen with these two. Not again. Yeah, I think it's top down. Embarrassing. There's a risk of someone being injured on this one here. I think we're okay, though. I'll get there eventually, guys. Always deconstruct stairs from the top down. That's the rule that we're learning today. After 44 odd episodes, we still don't understand basic dwarven engineering mechanics. It's alright. These poor little buggers have had plenty of difficulties before I came along. Deconstruct. Oh, we got a rooster. Alright. As long as I don't have to sleep near the crowing, I suppose that's up to you, dwarves. I know some people like the crowing of roosters. I do not. It's not my thing. I prefer my sunrises quiet, serene, peaceful. And not only do roosters disrupt that, but they'll disrupt you in the middle of the night, too. Personal experience has taught. Okay, so those are all deconstructed. Oh my goodness, we're almost there. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this row by row from here on out. That'll make it real easy. That way we'll just do one row and have it all decommissioned, and then the next row below that, row meaning level, I'm sorry. And that will make it so that we avoid any of these shenanigans. From here on out, we'll just do all the way down and then go down another level. But we'll get the ones that we've messed up and the dwarves that we messed up back on. We should probably check on that dwarf too. Was it Latast? That's not how you spell it. Yeah, remove construction. Ah, she's back at work. Let's go to health. Upper leg is fractured. So it looks like she broke her leg. But she's back at work. Cleaned with soap. Sutures. Upper leg set. Dressing. And it's got a splint. And a crutch. Oh, she's going down to dig through the cavern layer. Oh, there's a few of them that have gone down there. Looks like several, actually. Okay, nothing there. Let's go ahead and keep drilling. We're gonna go all the way to -100. I'll be very surprised if we don't hit the second or at least the third cavern layer. And then back to this nonsense here. It looks like we can start removing constructions on this one. We're splitting our miners up into a variety of projects that are quite spread across the map, if I do say so myself. Definitely go and get the other one. Why don't you? No? Alright. We'll go for -100. This map is actually really deep, all things considered. So we don't want to decommission any of our columns or remove any of the columns that we've constructed. That would be a tragedy. But we'll get all of these done, and then we'll go down to 54, and we'll remove scaffolding that way. Always remove scaffolding from the top down, boys and girls. If you're playing Dwarf Fortress, you're looking for any type of guide, Dwarf Fortress for Dummies, that is my contribution for today. Episode 44. Remove scaffolding from the top down. I've actually probably learned that lesson many times at this point. And, you know, you forget things. You definitely forget things. I do too, by the way. Everyone does. Now coming back in to grab those blocks and put them back. This is a disciplined set of dwarves when it comes to that. Most of the time, I don't know about you, but my fortresses always almost end up with just stuff strewn all about. What is this? Oh dear. Another injured citizen. What happened, Domus? Domus Steak Plays also injured. Seriously injured, unconscious. Good lord. Okay, so he probably broke his right leg. Oh no. Is there 2 injured citizens? I thought going from the top down was going to be the right way to go. Apparently, I was wrong. Super annoying. Super, super annoying. I wonder if it has to do with the fact that their stairwell was connected up here. But that's janky. That's really janky. You guys should be able to get up to this one. I don't know what's the holdup here. Just kind of waiting for that notification that says, hey, you've struck another cavern layer. Let's head down to the hospital and check on Domus. He's resting. This is one of our newer dwarves, I think. Needs setting, smashed apart, moderate pain. Needs sutures, needs setting, needs dressing, and immobilization. Yeah, he broke his leg. He'll be fine. He'll be back out on the field in no time, buddy. Hopefully there's a dwarf that's nearby from the medical profession persuasion that is nearby that can help with that injury when you guys get to it, please. Let's see if we get any more injuries now that these are just freestanding stairwells. Which, this basically is forcing them to go up from the bottom. Hey, Moses has become cat. We have a cat, a dog, a rooster. Hey, there's that notification I was looking for. Let's pause real quick. Did they take care of Domus here? He's been sutured. I wonder if we could make any it'd be cool if we could make any what am I trying to say? Pain meds. Dull the pain. Alright, well I think I'm willing to bet that we have made it down to... Oh, that's the end of that stairwell. Is that the second? That kind of looks like the second. It doesn't really seem like it's the third. Although there is a lot of gems down there. Look at all those emeralds. Wow. Rock crystals. Okay, maybe it was just those two. I thought there was more. There's plump helmets and spore trees and tunnel tubes and all kinds of stuff down here. What are these things? Spore tree branches. So that's a big spore tree. Alright, where did we come out at? We dropped down right here. Right into the middle of nothing. But we could tunnel over here. And go down even further, which I think we'll do. Yeah, And then something like this. Let's hit 110. Let's see where we go. We don't want to break. We don't want to dig too low, do we? I don't think we. I don't think we have the strength for that yet. Okay, this has all been taken care of. Excellent job. We'll just keep a close eye on the hilarity that is basically dooming our mining core here. That is so strange. If they... It looks like... Oh, we do have another injured citizen. Maybe that... Oh, no, it's... It's still Domus. Okay. And... Zilbin Whip Dreamy. Oh, this is Junior's mom. Is... doing a diagnosis on him. Thank you, Zilbin. A lot of up and down stairs. Scaffolding is kind of tedious to install and remove, isn't it? Well, maybe the removal part. I've definitely seen it go together pretty easily. Don't tell me it's another one. Once we get this level all done, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah, about 6 of them. Then we'll go down to the next level. And then I think we can start talking about floors and ceilings and, you know, the remaining part of this Hall of Remembrance. This long, narrow hall. Because there's a lot of dwarves that we need to enshrine here. 20, in fact. Hammer Dwarf, Militia Commander, Hammerlord, Marks Dwarf. Yeah, okay, cool. Spring has arrived. Welcome to year 57. Honeycomb, cloth. We still got some problems with our textile industry, I think. Automating that has been a challenge for me. I've had some fortresses where the automation of the textile industry went together really nicely. And then I've had others like Anvilseal here where there's always just a continuous spam of job cancellations. And it's, you know, obviously something that I'm doing wrong. It's not something that there could be no possible way that the game, you know, has, you know, anything wrong with it. Aside from, you know, maybe a little difficult to use interface. It's gotten a lot better. Like, to everybody's credit who works on this game, it has gotten way, way better. Even from the initial Steam launch, we have a lot of really cool features in this game. And a lot of really cool things that you could do. And if I'm being honest, I wasn't even able to handle the original ASCII, right? There's just nothing. I couldn't do it. I tried to play it so many times, and I could not learn the interface. I could not see the matrix, if you will. Because yes, that's definitely what was happening, right? It's just all ASCII characters. I think you can still do it. Let's see here. It's in settings. Yeah, there we go. That's crazy looking. That's tetrahedrite. That's rudal. Right, there's our stairwells and our columns. Which actually, that's kind of cool. It does show them as pillars or columns. There's our stairwell over there. There's the volcanoes. Hey! That's exciting. Let's pause that, and let's go back to something we can actually see. Now, let's be honest. The that's actually kind of... There's probably going to be a few of you who are watching this that go, oh my goodness, that's not actually what it looked like. And yes, you're right. That's not what it looked like. It definitely was, depending on your tile set and your ASCII characters, it was definitely different. So, leading an engraving demonstration, watching an engraving demonstration, and welcome Id, Bearded Relic, a new baby. A new baby. Durad Zeneg. Id Durad Zeneg, or as we like to call him, Bearded Relic. That's a nice name. Values decorum, good intuition, distrustful. Values stoicism, perfectionist, and low stamina. Baga is what he says. I don't know how we know exactly all this baby's personality just yet, but such that it is, you know? The dwarves... the dwarves have their ways, I suppose. Let's see. Relations. Erdem and Godin. And he already has a deity. Anyone else had that experience? He's a baby, but he's worshipping Itnet. Itnet, which just sounds like exactly how the baby would say that. Ramadagoth. Itnet Ramadagoth. Gosh, it sounds like something a baby would say. Let's see. Got anything interesting? Good intellect, way with words. He's rude. Rolls his eyes when he is annoyed. Licks his lips when he's nervous. Not going to jump through all of that, but yeah, good on you, Erdem. How long has Erdem been in the fortress? Race Inc. Yeah, she knows a lot of people. She's probably been here for a while then. And her husband. Let's see, where do they reside? Let's find their grand bedroom. It's over in the Orthoclase wing of our residence hall on the second floor. As a humble residence, but, you know, such that it is. Beautiful. Well, welcome, Erdem. Bearded Relic. I'm sorry, Id, Bearded Relic. And thank you, Erdem, and for your contribution. It's another mouth to feed, but high hopes. High hopes for our little tyke. Little bruiser that he is. All right, let's see. Back to the problem at hand. Almost completed with tearing down some more stairs. And we can dig down here. We're not digging. The dwarves are digging. Okay. We're tunneling through that second cavern layer. Boy, there's a lot of material in this map. I think this is as deep as we're going to go. But we now know where at least the first and second cavern layers are. And approximately how deep we'll have to go to get down to them. So that's acceptable. I'm glad that we have that information. Knowledge is power. So we're waiting on... Okay, so that's done. Now we can go back out here. We're almost done. Almost done with his dwarves. Just have to make sure that I'm not removing a part of a column. Some of you may have opinions about whether or not this is worth it. If you've done this before, let me know in the comments. Let me know what that's like. 2 sets of bolts. You got it. Iron bolts. Let's do copper bolts. We haven't done copper bolts in a while. Boom. Love it. All right. Kib, you're set. You're handled. Mischief managed. Off we go. So we got our cobaltite columns. Yeah, look at that. That's super easy. All right. How did that one get... Alright, I'm not going to ask questions that I don't want the answers to. We're just going to assume... Oh, there's just not a block there. Okay. Everything is good. I just don't know how to read the non-ASCII text. Ah, look what I did. Look what I did. And some of you might be wondering, well, why would you even want to go down into the cavern layers if you've got pretty much everything up here, right? It's a long walk for the dwarves. That exploration shaft that we've done is certainly a long trek just to get there, let alone climb down into the poor thing. And someone left their splint. Maybe someone's feeling better. So that's 250 copper bolts. Interesting. I do like that they've added the approximate numbers onto the jobs. Uh-oh. Well, I forgot to, Dabbles. I'm so sorry. All right. But yes, as I was saying, it's really nice to be able to see exactly how many things you're going to get, although it was confusing to start with on that. Let's put some floors down. And yes, I know you would like granite, but we're just going to do... kind of want something that's... I kind of decided, and then I changed my mind. I just want to make sure there's no other options. I think that's fine for now. Let's do a lunite here. And then we'll backfill the area between those columns with maybe a lighter color. I guess this is an art project. I don't know what else you would call it. This is entirely unnecessary. I'll put some type of maybe temple or something like that there. Feels like this might be the place where we put the god of death, his temple. You know, I'm more and more convinced as I talk about it that that's what we need to do. Another yak bowl. We can figure that out. Cover slowly. Waiting for another strong one so we can... And we can go for a much more scarce... Man, I'd love to do Realgar or Cinnabar, but I don't think we have enough. I don't even think we have enough Rootle. That was almost all of our Lunite, too. I did say maybe we'd use Orthoclase. How about Mica? And just along the back of each one of these columns. One thing that I forgot to do before disassembling the stairs, and I'm trying to decide, I think the answer is going to be no, but in the future, if I'm going to do something crazy like this, then what I need to do is I need to make sure that we get the opportunity to engrave the columns from the top down. You know? We'll just leave that unfinished. For now, that unfinishedness will signify that there may be more lives that are lost. And an acknowledgement of that. That does look a little strange. I'm not gonna lie. That looks pretty strange. I don't know why I did that. That's what it's gonna be. That's what it's gonna be. I'm gonna blame Dabbles. When in doubt, blame Dabbles. How far did we get, guys? Good lord, we got all the way down here. And that's amazing. If someone's bored and they need mining jobs to do, we'll just make a little dig out at 110, at minus 110. That's crazy. Once they're done here, then I think we can move up and we can start building our... start building our walls. A thought occurs. I actually think we didn't quite do this correctly. And so we built these walls in here, and we've got a 3x3 spot for every statue. And I think that we need to go out. Fortunately, one more here. That's not going to interfere. Then we'll channel. We'll channel out that area, and then we'll build our... we'll build our walls for the second layer. And I think microcline is the order of the day along all of this. Yeah, we'll leave that one alone. Actually. Just kidding. Sorry, I didn't mean to move the goalpost on you. Dwarf is probably feeling a little bit like Charlie Brown. Move the football right out from under while she was getting ready to mine that thing out. Yeah, we'll narrow this up. Should be fine. Look at that. We do need some microcline down here at the end. 3,800 microcline blocks. Yeah, so once we get these rows dug out here, then we'll channel this set here, which is going to expose the microcline, and then we can build on top of that. Hey, we've got an alpaca. Tons of animals growing up in this episode. We've had what? A dog, a cat, a rooster, an alpaca. All the dwarven pets growing up. Probably should check in on some of those military dwarves, although I don't see moods plummeting. So, for now, I think that's fine. It'd be nice to go out and grab some more Lunite. I think I might actually end up doing that. We should be done with our little project out here. Which I don't know what we're going to do with this area. It seems like a bad place to, like, put a soccer field or something like that. Or a football field. I don't really think that the dwarves are the sporting type as well, so there's that. Let's take a look. Still 425 gold bars. We really need to do some. Digging for gold bars. And look at all of the withered pigtails. It's a disappointment. Lots and lots of dimple cups backing up. There is something really satisfying about watching them work, especially when things are going well. Not when they're collapsing things on their own heads. Or something stupid like that. But it definitely is very satisfying. And we're going to get some Lunite out of this too, it looks like. Hey, another turkey. Look at that. This is the episode of animals growing up. That's crazy. How many more animals are we going to get before this episode is over? That's a large number of them. That's like 5 or 6. Hey, look at that. We got a little cat eye there. That's pretty neat. Oh my goodness. I guess this is normal because I think all the baby animals have the tendency to grow up about the same time. But now that is a gander, a turkey, an alpaca, a rooster, a cat, and a dog. You can't make this up. It's because we had those big migrant waves and they all brought their pets. You know? Not much else you can say. This is going to expose all that beautiful microcline on the other side. And then we'll have building to do there. And maybe, you know what? I'm just thinking about this. I'm not going to want this to be unfinished like that. So, there you go. Almost done digging this part out. And they're building up that microcline wall. And I'm going to do something probably a little weird here for some of you, but it'll make sense, or maybe it won't. But the goal is going to be to have this back wall engraved, and I can get to this part of the back wall from the floor. But I won't be able to get to this part of the back wall from the floor. And so, to that end, we'll have to engrave those, and then engrave, and then engrave, and then engrave. Hey, a yak bowl. Starting closing this. Sickly. Goodbye. I don't want you interacting with the herd. Yeah, that's beautiful. All right. And we'll get these back. I don't want to go back around here, so I'm going to be real lazy about it. But we'll have those engraved and then put 2 more walls in and have those engraved, and we'll go all the way out to the top. And then we'll come out here and we'll do the same thing. It's not the most efficient way to do things, but boy, is it going to look nice once we get all of the once we get all of this filled back in. And we dug down to 110? That's pretty crazy. I can't believe that. And we only hit 2 cavern layers. I'm actually relatively concerned about going deeper. Especially with exposure to the surface, you know? Let's go check that out. Did they finish that big hole? No, they're down there working right now. More mica. Cobaltite. And Sarvish has been taken by a Fey mood. Okay. He's claimed a workshop. Which one did you claim? This one here? Yeah. Alright, we'll keep an eye on that. But we're digging it out. There we go. Keep on smoothing the walls, or I'm sorry, keep on engraving the walls. I'm gonna use the blocks to do the other wall. Jeez. Looks nice, dwarves. It's a fitting home, a fitting hall of remembrance. Someone's coming to do this engraving, but the other guy, what's his name? English got there first. Oh, here he comes. He's done now. Image of a tactical competition. The deity of games, gambling, and luck depicted as a female dwarf by English Obaklisat. Itnet, the tactical competition, is contemplating. Mysterious construction on the way. This is a good thing. It's Erdem. That's the new baby coming down here to help us out. Well, that's great. Comes back and does the engraving immediately. One side's going to be done faster than the other. I'll tell you that much. Just make sure that all these are engraved. Cats. A well-designed image of cats. The touchy clock. The typhoon of circumstance. Engraved on the wall is a well-designed image of dwarves by Erdem Imsalikat. The dwarves are laboring. The artwork relates to the foundation of Anvilseal, the tapered irons, in the spring of 41. Love it. This is when we built our fort. Remember. Comes right back. Detailing the wall. Skilled engraver. Yeah. Everything else is, you know. She doesn't want to fight. Savrash Udarzeneg, the farmer, has created Gusgashbal, a granite table, and he offers it to the mighty anvils. A granite table. That's actually useful. Let's take a look. It's a legendary mason, so I guess masonry is tables. 5,300. That's a nice table. It's made out of granite. Craftsdorfship is of the highest quality. It's decorated with yak leather and encircled with bands of yak leather and oval cut citrines. This object is adorned with hanging rings of granite and copper and menaces with spikes of a spore tree. On the item is an image of lead lettermost, the dwarf, and fenced cat, the ward of lashes, the tetrahedrite earring in nethercap. Lead lettermost relates to the creation of fenced cat, the ward of lashes, and Anvilseal by the dwarf Lead lettermost in the early spring of 43. On the item is an image of cushion cabochons and lack leather, and yak leather. That's cool. So this is about another one of our earrings, and let's see if we can find. Is Lead still around? I think so. Lead lettermost. She's the creator of Ustuthun Zalis Meng. Ustuthkun Zalis Meng. Seems like she's been doing pretty well. She wants martial training. Lettermost. Lead lettermost. Where is that? It's an earring. I was hoping to be able to type it in and then just get the... Yeah, let's find out where this thing's at. Yeah, it's out here on a pedestal. Beautiful. It's a table about that. Alright, so where are we going to put that table, you guys? Huh. Well, let's drop back down there real quick. And let's think about the dwarf who created this. He's a spinner, brewer, stone cutter, stone carver. I'm guessing he's dabbling in a lot of those. Wants martial training. He wants to fight. I should just start, every time I see that, I should start writing a list of names down so that when we go to make our next squad, we've already got a group of people that are ready to go. In fact, you know what? Thanks for reminding me. That's exactly what we're going to do. So it was Lead lettermost. And then our friend here, Sarvesh, rain relics. And those will be our first two that have made Santa's fighting list. And I got to figure out a place to put this table. This dwarf, maybe in the temple that he goes to. He worships Doran. I've forgotten who Doran's, which god Doran is. Let's see here. Fesh. Doran. Hey. We could throw a table in here, right? There are 46 worshippers. Dear me. And they haven't organized into a sanctum or a religion. Wow. Well, maybe it's a loose organization. Let's get that table. Slap it right down there. That's lovely. And a chair? Why don't we have chairs and tables? That's interesting. You know what? I got an idea. Let's make a green glass. Not a green grass throne, a glass throne. And we're just going to put it up in that, next to that table. That'll be a nice little surprise. Still some folks, these iron greaves are pretty much spent. Let's melt those down. It doesn't look like they belong to anyone. Objects mangled. Yeah, it's trash. So, okay, back over here. How we doing? How we doing, kids? Not bad, not bad. Make your mark, dwarves. Make your mark. We're just gonna have like 100 dwarves descending into this tiny little cramped, in this little cramped area here, engraving to their heart's content, climbing over one another with chisels and hammers, most likely, to leave their creative mark on Anvilseal. Look at that! Oh my gosh! A narrow, tiny little tunnel with nearly the entire population hunched over, making a mark on the walls. That's a lot of dwarves, you guys. Wow. I imagine there's a lot of discussion going on right there. They're talking about a variety of different things, you know? What are you carving over there? Oh, I don't know. Something about cats. What are you carving? Oh, I'm carving something about the instrument that we have in the temple. Oh, you have an instrument in the temple. What is that all about? Well, come and read my carving and I'll show you. I don't know. That's kind of what I think is going on there. I could be wrong. Weak, agile, sickly, high stamina, and butcher. It almost doesn't take any effort at all to figure it out at this point. They get that done in nothing flat, though. I'll tell you that much. We haven't done the bottom part. That'll be probably another episode down the line. Wow, that didn't take long at all. Start on this part here. Someone left their shoes behind. Go pick up your shoes, dwarves. Still plenty of slobs in this fortress. I'll tell you that much. A lot of slobs, if we're being honest. Late spring, though. 7th of Felsite. That means that we're finishing our 16th year. And things are still looking really good. It's pretty amazing. Someone's coming to do that, they say. Lots of really good food getting created there. I don't know if you caught that, but every so often I'll look up and I'll see, you know, legendary meals being created. It's about time. That one get done already? Yes, it did. And this is where the walls are going to start to narrow. Go with some microcline here. That will be the last level 2 engraving that needs to happen. There's Avian Bane. Killed in the battle with Eagle Crushed, the Bronze Colossus. Surrounded by the dwarves. Appointment of Eurist Avian Bane to the position of Militia Commander. Yeah, that's right. She became our first Militia Commander. Eurist did. Ban on certain exports. Yep. Gave her life for the fortress. That's why we want this hall, you guys. That's why we want it. Gloves getting made. It's beautiful. We do need an entrance to this place, which will be right here. Obviously, and we're going to probably carve this out a little bit better once we get closer to being done, because this will all get closed off, or at least it won't be in use. And I think that's important. Just kind of set the building aside from the rest of our fortress. You know, set this aside as a special place, a unique place, some place that you know, will be revered. A place for us to remember our founders. That's for sure. Once we get these in, we'll start building this section. I think we can actually do this part here. That's fine. Cat's eye. It's looking nice. Every little step goes towards the finished product. The mayor's building that section. How you doing, Kib? Still the lover. It'd be cool to see them get married. I don't know if that'll actually happen. Sometimes they just want a lover and not really anything serious. As we close this episode out, something that I've been thinking about is maybe a little bit of a call to action. If you're watching this series and you've been enjoying it, and you have some ideas about what you would like to see the dwarves of Anvilseal pursue next, maybe now's the time to put that into the comments. I'm definitely planning on continuing this series for a good chunk of time. I don't really have a planned end date, unless the fates align and all of a sudden we've got, a huge incursion or invasion that we cannot repel. But if you have some ideas or some thoughts, I'd love to hear it. I'd love to find out what you think that the dwarves of Anvilseal should be focused on next. Because there's definitely room to kind of go in a few different ways in this fort. We've got a lot of dwarves in really, really good moods. We've got a lot of resources at our disposal. Pretty much got the same 5 grouchy dwarves that we always have had, it seems like. But other than that, everything's going great. We have a ton of plant matter. And we have what seems like limitless supplies of metal, with the exception of steel. So, if, you have an idea or a suggestion or a comment, I would love to know. I would love to hear about it. Giving off some steam there, I guess. I don't want a ramp. I want a chair. There's a green glass throne. Raining. Thought occurs to me, this does block shots from these bolt throwers. Interestingly enough, not my brightest idea there, I guess. But yes, that's the call to action right there. If you have some ideas or some thoughts, I certainly have not run out of ideas myself. There's a lot of things that I have implemented on other fortresses before that I think would be really fun to, have the dwarves take on here. But I'd like to get your thoughts as a viewer on that. So while the dwarves break out their hammers and chisels once again and fill the halls with the sound of work, the sound of remembering, if you will, I think it's time for us to bring episode 44 of Anvilseal to a close. It's been fun to watch along with you all, and thank you for going on this journey with me. And as you go on about your day, well, don't forget to hit someone with a little bit of kindness, and we'll see you next time.